Okay, right. It is Sunday, May 10th. Wow, I do not know the day. Yeah, it's Sunday, May 10th, 2020. And we are here live on Flippin Live. And what I'm going to talk about today, a variety of things. I'm going to talk again about Facebook ads that I'm running in regards to book donations that I'm trying to get for my business here locally. Talk about those Facebook ads and how those have been doing. I'm going to talk a little bit more, or we're going to do a little bit more of the book box finds, and see what I find in the books that I have that I received or bought back in March, and see if there's anything good in there. We'll go through them together, and also I want to talk about your compounding efforts when it comes to your business. So let's get started with Flippin' Live.
Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're gonna strive, we're here to learn and gonna earn. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, we're flippin' live.
Welcome, guys. Hey, Brian. Welcome, guys. Good morning, Brian. Glad to see people here bright and early on a Sunday morning. At least for me, it's 7 a.m., 7:04 here in Southern California. So I know people are watching this from a variety of states and cities, and even a few people come in from other countries. So glad you guys are here earlier. I actually got up pretty early this morning. I went for a walk/run. I decided to start doing that as a way to... South London's here, Resellers here. Afternoon where you are. Here it's the morning, 7 a.m. here in California. You are listening while baking. Sounds fun. We baked a cake last night because today's Mother's Day here in the States. So we'll be celebrating that today. Anyway, yeah. So today last night I decided I'd go to bed a little earlier. So I went to bed a little after 9 instead of staying up late. And I'm going to start a new routine on top of my other routines in terms of exercise. And I'm going to start walking/running, depending on how my body's feeling in the morning. This morning I went for it was a walk, and then it turned into a run, and then I started walking at the end. So anyway, I'm feeling good. Took a shower, feeling refreshed, feeling good that I had some exercise under my belt before I start the day, which is always good. So I'll start doing that. And I've had yesterday had some offers in regards to some eBay items I have. So some people accepted my counter offers, some people did not. But it's fun to get more offers and more activity on my eBay account. Oh, thank you. Happy Mother's Day. Appreciate it. Yeah, the kids were making on Friday with their grandparents. They were making Mother's Day cards for my wife, and then yesterday they were making some for grandma, and then I was with them putting one together for my wife. So it's always fun to do the homemade cards with the kids because they really enjoy their art. It's funny how they love to learn. They like to do their schoolwork for the most part, reading and writing and math and everything, but they love to do their art stuff and color and do art projects as well. So that was fun. Let's see. I just want to take a quick look at eBay and see if I have anything new going on. Yeah, I have like 8 or 9 sales already. I actually sold another DVD lot, kids DVD lot that I had listed as a buy it now. So that's the second one, and that's a Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks mixture. And I've sold some other individual items here. I'm just looking through it. And another one, this guy bought or won some auctions a while back, and has not been responding to my invoices. And then out of the blue, he's like, "Oh, can you add this other one?" And I said, "No." "Hi Pat, good morning." I said no, I can't. You can just pay me on the other ones. And then he's like, "Okay," and he finally paid me. So sometimes you got to wait. That does not happen very often where you don't get a response. Usually I have to submit them to eBay for a case and all that nonsense. But this guy paid. Um, so yeah, and a person, I have an item going for like $69.99. They're these CD. Are they CDs or DVDs? Here, I'll show it to you. They're actually DVDs. Let me turn the brightness down on my phone so you can see it. So they're called Precept upon Precept um, DVDs, and they're religious themed. And it's a woman. Boy, I can't remember what her name is. Anyway, there's a woman who does it, and these are really highly. I've sold them before. I found a bunch together. Like I sold 6 or something together that I pull out of a Gaylord, and for some reason they go for a lot of money. I guess they're pretty rare, and I have it listed for $70, and they offered me 20, and I came back at them with like, I don't know what I came back with them at. It was like 60 or some amount, and now they came back with me at 51, which is much more reasonable. So sometimes you have to deal with those low offers. Brian says, I had someone message me on eBay this morning asking if I would ship an expensive camera that I have listed by the USPS instead of UPS. Is this someone trying to scam me? I don't know. I've never had that issue before. Did you ask? I would ask them why. I guess that would be my first initial gut reaction to that, is why do you want me to ship it to you via the post office versus UPS? And I would just say, I would ask him that, and then I would have the policy of, no, I'm going to ship it UPS, so I'm not going to change it unless you can give me an incredibly good reason to do that. That just seems strange. But yeah, I would ask them the question, because it could be legitimate. They could have a legitimate reason. You never know, and you want to sell your item, so it doesn't hurt to ask. They could not respond or come back with some ridiculous reason that makes no sense and seems like they might be a scammer, or I don't know, trying to do something shifty. So that's a weird request. But we get all kinds of weird requests, that's for sure. I had someone like a week or so ago who had won an auction from me on April 3rd, a DVD lot, and I had sent the invoice and they didn't pay, and then, oh yeah, lack of signature, right? So I would message them and just ask them the question, why basically, and see what they say, see if they have a good response. So I had someone message me, I don't know, over a week ago, and they had won an auction, a DVD auction, on April 3rd, invoiced them, didn't pay. Sent a case in, which you have to wait 4 days. They didn't pay, so then I went in there and closed the case and relisted the item, and then it sold like a week later. So I don't know, April 17th or something, 20th, around there. And the person paid immediately, and I shipped it. And I got this message like at the beginning of this month. So what is it, May 10th? So yeah, in May, saying, "Oh, it was like, do you still have my item? I'll pay you, next week," or something like that. And I ignored them, because it's mind blowing how someone would think that after I've sent you multiple invoices, after a case has been submitted and then closed against you. I don't know what eBay does when they close a case and someone is not paid. I don't know if they have strikes against them, and then they get so many strikes they get kicked off, but it doesn't seem to bother too many people about doing that type of thing. So I wanted to, well, let's see here. What should I go into first? Well, I'll just let you know what's been going on with the Facebook ads. So I submitted them late Friday, which I was telling you yesterday, the same ad. And I have had, whoops, okay, since I told you yesterday that I had a response of someone who on Friday night who wanted to have me pick up some items, and I'm picking them up tomorrow, Monday at 11 a.m., which is awesome. And then since then, since I last talked to you guys, I've had three other people message me, and these are all people that I have not yet set an appointment with, but one person was asking where I was located to drop them off, and I told them, um, and I said, just let me know day and time, and they're like, awesome, thank you. And so uh, I'm going to contact them tomorrow or probably tomorrow and just see if they have an idea of when they want to do that. So that's a potential there. And then another person says uh, they're not yet ready. I have many more to go through. And I said, okay, when you're ready, let me know. She's like, thanks. And so that's another person I can follow up with. And then I have another person who said, oh, it'll probably take a couple weeks. We're still going through things. And then I said, okay, I'll contact you in a couple weeks. She's like, yeah, great, thank you. So 1 out of 4 so far, I've gotten an actual specific time to get books. Now, this is awesome. I feel like that's a great response in the first 24-ish hours. Sunday's a good day too. Hopefully my ad will do well today, and I'll get some more responses about that and see if I can get some more appointments set up, or either drop-offs or pickups, I should say. Because that's the thing about this is you want to try to get people to nail down a time, um, or at least get an idea of, this one woman says a couple weeks, so I will contact her because I have all the messages together here in Facebook, so I can just go back in a couple weeks and contact her and say, oh, just following up to find out if you're ready, if you've gone through your books and you're ready to donate. And the thing is, if you offer that, to call them back or to contact them again, that relieves them of the responsibility of having to remember to contact me, find me. Where was that? Where was that guy? Where was that message I sent to that guy? The book guy, the 5-something book guy. And, after they have been going through however many books, which is a good thing. Maybe they have a ton of books. I don't know. And so I can contact them and hopefully set up a time. Or they might say, oh, I'm not quite done, I need another week or whatever, and that's fine. And so these are all positive responses. I've had good responses, and this plays into, or this goes into the topic I want to talk about, which is compounding your efforts. And basically, what I want to talk about, that concept. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with compound interest. Let me know if you are. There's an actual calculation for this when it comes to investments, and it's called the Rule of 72. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. I used to work in the financial industry, so I became familiar with this. But it's good to know. It's good information to know. And this is definitely, this is not a financial investment live stream, but hey, we can talk about, different things and tie them in and that type of thing. But this is just tying this into the idea of compounding your efforts. Let me just share with you what this actually is. This isn't really, so basically the rule of 72 is you divide 72 by the interest rate you're going to get, and it shows you how, here, I'll share the screen, and it shows you how many years it will take for your money to double, right? So to compound your efforts. So here's an example of 8% interest into 72 equals 9 years to double your money. So what that means is in 9 years, if you have $1,000 in 9 years, it'll double to 2,000. If you have 10,000 in 9 years, it'll double to 20,000, and then etc. It'll keep going, take another 9 years. However, if your interest rate is higher, if it's 10%, 10 into 72 is 7 years, a little over 7 years. So every 7 years, your money will double, etc., etc. If the interest is higher, it takes less amount of time to double your money, and if the interest is lower, it takes more years to double your money. That's the basic concept, without going into too much more detail, although there's not much more to it. So it's just the concept of being patient, and steadily investing your money, in this example, in the stock market, in stocks and bonds and mutual funds, in retirement accounts that have stocks and bonds in them, and investing into as your money grows, right, over time. That's why they say, to think long term, right? If you're younger, even if you're not younger, it doesn't matter. But if you have a 20, 30-year landscape, if you're 30, if you're 40, even if you're 50, 10, 15, 20 years is a long time, and you can see your money double, depending, of course, how the interest is going. So anyway, my concept for what we're talking about for reselling is the concept of compounding your efforts. So you can apply this to anything in life. You can apply it to exercise. You can apply it to eating healthy. And of course, you can apply it to your business efforts, right? Whatever the type of business you have. But let's say for reselling, it's the concept of, okay, here's the start of the month, let's say, and I've got 100 items listed on eBay, but I want to get to 400 items. So let me just work ahead at that to compound my efforts so that I get to that listing, I get to that goal, but also as I'm listing and listing consistently, I'm going to see my sales compound, right? They compound, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. Same thing for Amazon and FBA. I talked about this in other videos where it's important to keep plugging away so that you see your inventory numbers grow, and therefore your sales grow, and therefore your income grow, right? So you say, oh, I worked really hard this week, and now I'm not going to work this week at all. Well, then it's going to slow down your compounding effort. That's the thing about Amazon with FBA. You really see that compounding quickly if you're consistent about it. If you plow ahead for a month and you're out there sourcing a lot, whatever way that you source, whether you're going to thrift stores, whether you're going to estate sales, garage sales, yard sales, or you're going to book sales, or maybe you're buying from storage lockers, or there's auctions online, whatever it is, you want to, or if you're going into bulk, right? You want to be sourcing, listing, shipping, and then eventually selling, and eventually making more money. So it's just I apply that also to, so that's what I'm talking about with the Facebook ads that I'm running, where I could run an ad for a week and I could have good results. Let's say after I have this running for about 8 days or so, I might just extend it at this point, but I could just end it and be like, yeah, that was great. So I got 5 appointments, 5 donations, other people saying maybe they'll keep going, or maybe I'll eventually get an appointment with them. But instead of doing that, if I just keep running it, right? If I just say, okay, I'm gonna run it every day, $7 a day for the next month, it gives me more time to compound the effort so that so within the first week, I have 1 appointment already. How many more will I get within the first 7 days? Hopefully I'll get more than 1. Ideally, I'd love to have 3, 4, 5 appointments that I've already set up for pickups or drop-offs. I should say 4 or 5 pickups or drop-offs. I'd love to hit about 5. That'd be great, but I have no control over that, so I don't know what's going to happen. But I know if I extend it into the next week, to the second week, some of those efforts I put in this week will start showing up in that next week, second week, or maybe the third week. So by the third or fourth week, I should have, if things go well, if the ad continues to do well, I should have more pickups, drop-offs, etc. Happening in those third and fourth week. Ideally, right? Ideally. So basically the point is, if you give up early, you say, oh, I don't see any difference. It's been a week, it's been 2 weeks. Well, keep giving it some more effort. I'm not saying do it for a year, but give it a little more time, right? To compound, to see if your efforts are going to actually start showing the fruits of your labor. Sometimes it's not immediate, right? That's what happens with things like this, with business. And like I said, the rule of 72, it's the same concept. If you invest $1,000 in the stock market, it's unlikely you're gonna double your money in a week, unless you bought some individual stocks that doubled in value, which at this point right now, looking at the stock market, how things are going all over the place, it's possible, right? But by and large, historically, it's going to take more time. So it's the same thing for your eBay or your Amazon business, or whatever business you have. Is you got to give it some time, right? You also have to be realistic. You have to say, oh my gosh, I've been sourcing for 3 months and I've only made, hardly made any money. Well, then maybe you need to adjust. That's a whole nother conversation, right? Maybe you need to adjust on the fly. You need to make some changes also while you're trying to compound your efforts. You can't do the same thing and get the same lame results and expect things to change. So that's kind of a definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So it's the same thing, right? For this Facebook ads, I'm going to keep on pushing with those. Hasn't even been 48 hours yet. Today, this afternoon at 5 p.m. roughly, it'll be 48 hours. So after a week, I can reassess and say, is it working, right? So far, I've gotten 4 responses, 4 actual messages in a little over a day. Who knows how Sunday will go, but if it goes well today, if I get a couple more messages, then that's good. And if I get more messages throughout the day or throughout the week, that's all positive signs that the ad I made actually works. And that I don't necessarily have to, make a new ad. I can try another ad and see if it works even better, maybe a shorter one, that type of thing. But anyway, so I want to give my efforts time to compound. That's kind of the point. Because you'll see a lot of people writing on the Facebook groups, reseller Facebook groups, especially about books and Amazon. And they'll say, I've sent in 200, 100 items, whatever, or books, and I'm hardly seeing any sales. Is that normal? And honestly, what I would tell them is 100 books is not very much, right? Unless, especially out of the gate and not knowing what you're doing, even if you watched 20 videos, some of my videos, many of the other resellers' videos about how to resell books and the types of books you should buy, and using Scoutly or any other type of scanning app and and pricing and all that stuff. It's not until you actually do it yourself and see what works and what doesn't work that you're actually going to be able to figure out how to do it, what books actually sell, what books are not worth sending in. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second, Pat. Good point. If you only have 100 books sent in, unless you're out of the gate, you're sending in the perfect types of books that sell quickly for good profit, then chances are you're gonna have to send in more books and just learn more. It's not just about the quantity, it's also about the quality of the books. Pat makes a good point. He says, I doubled my reselling every year for the first 4 years. That's awesome. Then ran into the out of time factor. Absolutely. You only have so much time, right? Of course, right? We only have 24 hours in a day. We got to sleep. We got to eat. We should have some exercise or some relaxation, some enjoyment. If you have a significant other or you have kids, of course, or grandkids, wherever you are in life, of course, you can't do it all day. You got to have some balance. Moderation and balance are important in life. I struggle with moderation when it comes to my business, but I do try to have some balance with work, family, exercise / relaxation. But definitely true, you do run out of time, so you can only do so much as one person, which is why people then start to hire people, or if you're just doing books, people start to hire like a sourcer, and they'll pay them $1 a book or whatever the setup you have, or they hire somebody to list for them so they can take that out of the equation, so then they free up more time. Have you seen those donation bins that look like giant mailboxes? Hold on one second. So Pat makes a very good point, of course, right? You can compound your efforts, work more, and I don't necessarily mean just working more hours, which is important, right? But also doing it for a longer period of time consistently. So if you can only source after work for an hour or 2 hours, Monday through Friday, let's say you do an average of hour a day, 5 hours. Let's say you're finding 50 books a week, but you're consistent about it, right? Versus, I go once or twice and then I get discouraged. And so I just kind of go whenever. Well, but if you do it every day, consistent about it, do that for a month, you're going to see results. Unless you're just terrible at sourcing and you're buying the worst things. If you're learning as you go, you're paying attention to what sells and what doesn't sell, and you continue, like Pat says, doubling your efforts. So double, not only working more hours if you can, but also just being consistent about it, you're probably going to see better results. But of course, at some point, you're going to bump into maxing out the time you have, especially if you have a job or another career. Um, and even if you've jumped into this as a side thing and then it became a full-time thing, and you still only have so many hours. So I understand you reach that max and then you can't do any more as an individual. Then you have to decide, am I happy with what I'm making? Can I make adjustments? As in, can I try to find more more higher profit items and focus on those? Or am I interested in hiring people to help me? Two ways. Well, there's two ways that pop into my head with as a FBA reseller is either you hire somebody to list for you. So let's say you take your books to somebody's house as an example, because if you don't have an office or anything like that, and you teach them how to list on Amazon, leave your books with them, they list them, they pack them up, they ship them. Instead of you spending that time listing, you can go out and source more, or you can hire. People have done this. I've talked to, or not talked to, but seen a lot of people who hire sourcers for them. They give them either they use their own phone or they actually buy a phone for them, and they have the app with preset um, triggers on there, and they just go by those triggers, and the majority of the books they get are good to resell. Anyway, so those are other options, but that's a whole nother conversation, which I guess we could get into. Brian says, have you seen those donation bins that look like giant mailboxes? Yes. I see them in the middle of parking lots. Here and there. Wonder how someone would even contact the property owner for the location. In parking lots. Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes you'll see like Goodwill or thrift books or something like that. Although I don't see very many of those around here. And sometimes you'll even see them on college campuses. I've never gone that route. Yeah, I don't know. I would say you just contact the property owner and see what happens, right? It doesn't hurt. You'd have to create some sort of mailbox bin type of situation that people couldn't just get into themselves and steal from or destroy easily. But I've never looked into it. It's a good idea if you can figure it out, for sure. I mean, if you can put 5 bins or 5 book bins, book barrels, book donation receptacles of some kind, it's a way to collect books without you having to do anything. You can, donate books to blah blah, whatever you want to call your organization or yourself. Yeah, for sure. Kind of what I'm doing with the ads is kind of like a roundabout way of doing that just on the internet and paying for it. Pat says, I found in my real life business when I was still running it, that scaling from 0 to 1 employee was the biggest hurdle. Oh yeah, I'm sure. From 1 to 10 was much easier. Oh, it makes sense. Totally makes sense, because before your first employee or independent contractor or whatever it may be, you don't know, right? You don't know exactly who you're looking for. You don't know if they're the right fit. Even if you interview them, even if you train them, you don't know how long they're going to stick around. And you got to make sure. That's the thing. Like, I think about with my warehouse now, I think a lot about it, because that's what I talked about before I even got the warehouse. Talked about getting a warehouse space, doing a local sale, and then hiring somebody to help me list on eBay and then possibly on Amazon, because listing is one of my least favorite things. But I think, and one day I might do it. I'm still figuring out if I want to do that or not. Yeah, exactly. So it's tough to give up control. Absolutely. That's the thing I worry about, is giving up the control. There's ways to try to mitigate that on eBay. Like if you say, okay, I want you to list these 100 items, take the photographs and list them. But I want you to save it as a draft. So don't have it go live. And then at the end of the day or whenever, you can go back through them and just make sure that they didn't make any mistakes, that they'd taken good photos and that type of thing. But absolutely, you do lose control. And then let's say they did a good job, and then maybe over time you're not necessarily looking at those, and maybe they make mistakes here and there, and then you get frustrated and you have to adjust. But yeah, losing control, whether to trust somebody, do you leave them alone in your warehouse? And make sure that they're not trying to rob you. I mean, it's stuff as an employer that you have to consider. So for sure. but to each their own. A lot of people that get into reselling on Amazon or eBay have no interest in going beyond their house, or beyond their house in their garage, or beyond their house and garage in a storage unit possibly. And even if they get a warehouse, they just want to do, it's just them and their spouse, or them and their children, or their brother or sister or whatever. So everyone's different. I wanted to grow this business bigger, and which I've slowly done over the years. And now I'm to the point to where hiring somebody to help me list is starting to make financial and time sense, or time constraint sense, I guess. And I recommend I feel that that's the better way to go about it. What I mean is, you want to push, or I think it's better to naturally be in the position where you absolutely need, or you need to hire somebody to help you, because if you don't, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to sell more and make more money. And you can't see yourself doing this for 10 more years, right? That's the thing I start to think about is, I have a warehouse, I have a local sale. So it's a lot, right? I've got to source whatever that is, whether I'm doing Facebook ads, picking up books, bringing them back, going through them myself. I have to do all that by myself, right? I've got to put the ad up. I've got to contact the people, communicate with them, set those pickups or drop-offs off. If I buy Gaylords again, once they arrive, I've got to go through them myself, which is very time consuming. Not only time consuming, but tiring. And then once I have everything sorted out, I've got to organize it for my local sale, and either put it out or put it to the side for restocking in the future. And then I've got to list those items on eBay, take photographs and list them, and then store them. And Amazon, I've got to list, put in a box, and ship it. I mean, you guys know the deal, right? It's a lot. It's a lot of different little things. So my point is that if you want to grow, because a lot of people do, they want to go beyond themselves. They want to grow a bigger business, which is what I think I want to do, right? But I try to imagine if I have someone helping me list on eBay 2-3 hours a day, right? Let's say 9 a.m. to 12, 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week. Well, I've got to find somebody, number one, which means I have to go through the application process, hiring process. I've got to train them. So I've got to be over their shoulder. I could even pre-record videos. I could have templates set up. I could do all that. But they're going to have a lot of questions, which is understandable. I could try to look for somebody that's already listed some stuff on eBay, but they're still going to have to learn, right? I lost my train of thought. But basically, I have to do all of those things. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a big responsibility, and so I have to do all of those things, and my point is that you have to decide if you're going to grow. Are you immediately just going to hire somebody or get a warehouse, even though you're not even selling that much, which I think is a bad idea? Or are you going to grow into it? You want to grow into expansion. So I got to the point to where, I was just reselling at home, just books, going to all the typical places that you talk about: estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and then eventually library book sales. And then I got into bulk. I started buying CDs, and I was putting them in my garage. And over time, I started to realize, wait a minute, between my wife not liking all the stuff in there and me not liking everything just being in the garage, maybe I'm outgrowing the garage. So then I got a storage unit, and I was so excited about it, and I was starting to get Gaylords. First time I got Gaylords, guys, I rented a truck, and I kept the Gaylord in the truck, the 4 Gaylords in the truck. And then I had to go to a recycler, and they took them off my hands, and I had a rental truck. Like, that's what I did. And then I realized, and then I found a source. After I tried that source, I said, this is good. Maybe I should get a storage unit. So I got a storage unit, a small one, not the big one that I had at the end, but a small one where I could fit like 6 Gaylords. And I had just enough room. I had like 4 in there, 5 in there at a time, and I had just enough room left over to actually have a table and sort. And I was in there for a while. And then I said, I need a bigger storage unit. So I went into the next one, but it was all out of necessity. And then I was in that storage unit for a while, and I was like, this is great. I was excited about having the big space. And then after a while, a year or whatever, I said, man, it gets so hot in here. It's There's no light. There's no good lighting. I can barely take photographs. There's nowhere to plug anything into, right? I can't charge my phone. There's no bathroom, et cetera, et cetera. It's big, but it's not quite as big as I'd like to. Oh my gosh, I've got all this extra stuff. Wouldn't it be awesome to have a local sale so that instead of just giving this, like, getting rid of this stuff, throwing it away, getting nothing for it, I can actually sell it. And that way, by having a local sale, I can have people who start to ask me, do I get to keep donation, or will I accept donations or trades? And it snowballs, right? And so you kind of grow into it. Brian says, how would you approach having the person, oh, if you hired somebody, price the item that's listed? So for me, I always pre-price my items as I'm going through them. So I have a stack of, well, anyway, I have a stack of stuff down there that I took photographs, individual items for eBay, that I took photographs of on Friday in the warehouse, and I brought them home. I already the photos are on my computer, and I'm just slowly going to start listing them, here and there. And I already have them priced out, so it would be the same thing if I hired somebody, is I would have the prices on them. So that would mean that I would still have to go through, for sourcing purposes, either donations or gaylords. I would have to go through that still myself. So I'd be spending most of my time doing that. And then I would price it out and I'd put it in a stack and I'd say, oh, here's another 30 items that I want you to photograph and list today. And then they would do it. Yeah. So that's how I would think to do it. Awesome, guys. We got 7 people watching live. This is great. If you're a newcomer, I appreciate you coming to the program or watching the program. This is Flippin Live. We do it every morning at 7 a.m. We're trying to learn something new here, have some fun. Feel free to chat, ask questions. Ask questions in the chat. If you're a first timer, that's great. If you like it, please give us a thumbs up. So yeah, the whole concept of compounding efforts, which is what we've been talking about. I'm getting to the point to where yeah, I start to see that I'm hitting the ceiling, like Pat talked about, of time. And also, so if I'm maxing out on time that I have to put into business, how do I free up more time? The only way is I either cut back on what I'm doing or I hire somebody to take away some of the tasks that I have, which would be like listing. But I have to decide, is that enough, or do I have enough for this person to list, basically? So do I have enough to keep them busy 2 to 3 hours a day? That was the other thing I was going to say. I have to pay them, let's say 15 hours a week. So let's say if I'm paying them $10 an hour, it's $150 a week. So roughly every month, that's about $600. So I also, have to decide. The only way is by actually doing it, but I have to see if that's actually financially makes sense. So if I'm paying somebody $600, what is my return on that investment? I know that one return is that I free up more time for me. So instead of spending those 3 hours, well, they'll of course get quicker, but ideally over time. Initially in 3 hours, they might only be able to list, whatever it is, 30, let's say, items. And then in a couple of weeks, maybe they'll go up to 40. And then in a month, maybe they'll be able to list 60, 70, I don't know. So they'll get quicker with it, but that'll free up my time to be able to whatever I need to do, right? Maybe I need to go through another Gaylord or a bunch of other book donations so that I can get more ready for FBA, or to give them to list on eBay, to keep them busy. So, I have to make sure that if they're listing 100 items a week, let's say, on eBay, just as an example, is that going to, I'm paying them $150 for that week. Am I going to make more than $150 on everything that they listed? I would hope so. 100 items. What I'm seeing by myself listing way more on eBay is I'm selling more and making more, and I'm not even listing nearly as much as somebody who is dedicated to doing it would be able to do. So anyway, there's a lot of things to consider as you want to grow. It gets more complicated. As Pat was saying, it's a bigger hurdle to get to that one employee or worker than to go beyond the first one, because then you have an idea. Like anything, right? Like Amazon, doing Amazon. Yeah, Pat says has to generate at least, say, $1,200 extra in sales a month to break even. Yeah, depending on what my typical profit is per item being sold, which varies. It varies, right? I might sell an $8 DVD and then a $50 uh, DVD or book or whatever. So it's going to vary, but absolutely, I would hope that if I would want if somebody was listing at least 100 items a week for me, so 400 more items a month. And just perspective, I'm currently on eBay have like 480-ish because I have some auctions up there. I have like 480-ish items for individual sale, uh, maybe even less, 470, 75. So if they were listing 100 a week, I don't currently right now I don't have 100 a week to give them, so it would be less. But by them listing for me, it would give me more time to go through everything that I have and prepare that for them, right? But yeah, if I'm at 480, let's say right now, and then they're able to even, let's say, list 300 more a month, I mean, I'm going to hit my max, which is 1,000 items listed for sale on eBay in a month, individual buy it now items. I'll hit my max in a month and a half, right? Of course, as they're listing a ton of stuff, I'll be selling way more. So another thing that will be required of me is shipping more. I'll have to spend more time shipping, which will then take away time from organizing and sourcing to give them more items. So as Pat has already mentioned, it does get more complicated. It gets more difficult. The when you hire somebody, right, all the details with that, and then if you make more sales, then well, I have to decide, am I going to do all the shipping or am I going to have this person also chip into the shipping? But then that cuts into their listing. You know, think about any business, right? The bigger you get, the more it gets away from you and you start to lose control and you have to have systems in place, even just like very detailed systems or more than vague systems, but some sort of system in place so that you know who does what and when. So there's all of that stuff. It starts whirling in my head, and it's a lot of stuff to consider. But yeah, I think it's good. If I want to go beyond just me, then I'm gonna definitely have to start hiring somebody or some people at some point. So if you guys have other questions about that or comments about what I'm talking about, please let me know, or put it in the chat. And yesterday, what we started doing, part of the show, is we started going through some books that I had purchased in the beginning of March from someone that had they had several hundred books, and I bought them all for $20. They were 4 tubs full and then another box full, and I've gone through some of them with you guys yesterday, and we found a few. Like a few that I could sell locally. This one, some random stuff. This one here, Homer, the Iliad. These are ones that are probably not going to do well individually on Amazon or on eBay. And then also this one, whoopsie, which I didn't know. This one here, The Last Lion, Winston Churchill. Maybe you guys on here knew this, but someone let me know in a comment after I had posted the video or after we went live that this one is actually part of a 3-book set. There's The Last Lion, that it's a trilogy, and that's one of the books, and there's 2 others. And he said you could sell those for $40 to $50 on eBay. What do you call it? $40 to $50 on eBay if you have all 3, according to him. I took his word for it, but so he said if I hang on to that one, I'll find the other ones. Although that dust jacket is pretty messed up, so we'll see. But that's an example of something that you could find one book and then it could be part of a series or a set. And if you hang on to that, and you never know, you'd be surprised what you find. The more that you get out there, the more books you get your hands on. And it could be CDs or DVDs as well in regards to sets or series, the better you're going to do, or the more likely you're going to find the rest of that series or set to complete it. So anyway, so those are some of the books we went through. I piled them up. What did I do here? I don't know where did that other book go? Oh, and I wanted to do like a live lookup. Here's another one. So I organized them a little bit by I put all the fiction together. Here, let me show you. So there's the book bin. There's the pile. Whoa. 1 second. So I have my my Scoutly app up here, and here's one. Well, that's loud. Brian says, awesome. Scoutly and Scout IQ should have a custom trigger for a specific ISBN. So if we can, if we a book that's part of a set like that, it could let us know that maybe it's worth buying. Yeah, that would be a good idea. So here's this book, Mountains and Rivers Without End by Gary Schneider. This is no good on Amazon individually. It hardly has any, it hardly has any sales. So it is 3.5 million rank. However, look at all those merchant fulfilled offers, right? 41, and it's basically the lowest price you're going to get a merchant fulfilled book, which is about $5.99, $5.98, $5.95. Remember back in the days when they used to be a penny plus shipping was $4? That ended when Amazon increased their fees. And so this one, just by looking at it, I would, if I was in the thrift store or wherever, I would say, yeah, this probably isn't worth money. But if I have my scanner, I would just quickly scan it just to make sure, because you never know. So that's going to go in the pile that, and I don't think that will go into my local sale. Now I have a bunch of mass market paperbacks here, and these are unlikely going to be worth any money individually. I'll look this one up just because it looks slightly different. This one here. And actually, this one sells quite a lot on Amazon. 186 sales count, which means that this is probably selling more than one copy a day. However, look at the prices. Look at Amazon price. Well, I assume that's Amazon. Let's see. So that's the Amazon new price, $5.93. Whoa. Wow. Why is that not showing up? I lowered there you go. So that is not one that you want to send in unless you want to make, at the Amazon price, you would make, you'd lose money. You'd lose 13 cents. This one is a Sharp Objects. They made that into an HBO show with Gillian Flynn, the same woman that wrote Gone Girl. So this is a very popular book. I bet you if I look it up on Amazon. Yeah, this one is not selling quite as often as that other one, but 76 sales. Actually, look at that. So you could send that in. I would actually send that in. $8.99, you'd make $2.27. It's a small book. This one's in decent shape. It's got some corner curling, but I might send that one in. It's up to you. Like I said before yesterday, that when someone asked me if I would, like, where my lowest profitability would be for a book to send in, or my minimum profit for a book to send into FBA, and I would say try to get to around $3. This one is a little less. This one was $2.27. Although you could, yeah, well, yeah. Because it's selling so often and there's not actually that many copies, if Amazon accepts it, I'd probably send it in, just because it'll sell relatively fast. It's basically selling, if not every day, every other day for sure. Most days it's selling though, so that's one that I would probably send in, because I got it for $20. I got all these books, probably several hundred books, so my cost of goods is very low. And if I send it in with a bunch of other items, I've got some CDs down here to list, and then hopefully we'll come across some more books. It's a little extra helps. JD said, is there a fast or better way or app for scanning CDs or books or DVDs for eBay? Whew. Wow, I just got a hunger pang right there. My body's telling me to eat soon. So I would say for eBay, that's rough. I I don't know of anything else other than their app. Their app is great. So here's the thing about eBay is and why a lot of people when they go from Amazon to selling on eBay or diversifying into eBay, they're always, a lot of people are like, wow, there's like no information on eBay. Amazon has sales rank, sales history, charts, the apps that will give you all the information you need. There's a lot of data available. And with eBay, so I don't know of anything, basically, JD. Um, but with eBay, it's basically all you get is the app. And on the app, you can find out how many are currently for sale, of course, what the prices are, and then what is sold recently. And that's about all you get. So there's no sales rank. The next best thing is the Terapeak, which I don't believe you can pull up on your phone. At least let me know if you guys know that's possible. But through the website, you can use Terapeak research, which if you're out away from home is not helpful, but it's helpful, if you're at home in front of your computer, and it'll show you if you have a store subscription on eBay. So, and I think you can have the basic store too, or the starter one. I believe they give you access to Terapeak. So it gives you a whole last 12 months of sales, which is really helpful for finding out what things are selling for and how often they're selling for. But in terms of an app, the eBay app is the only one that I'm aware of. And it's great for what it does, but it definitely doesn't have anything like sales rank or sales history other than just seeing over the last 3 months what things have been selling for, how often. Oh, okay. So here's another fiction one. Of course, we probably see this all the time. Divergent. This is one that I put in my local sale. Let's see. There's this one, Roma, the novel of ancient Rome. Just by looking at this, I doubt it. So here's one. There it is. That has 61 sales count, which is a lot, which is good. However, look at the merchant fulfilleds, right? 76. And there's already 10 FBAs. And if you sell it for $8.99, which is the lowest, you're going to make 71 cents. So I'm not going to recommend sending that one in, even if you get it for free, I didn't get it for free, but I got it for really cheap. But that one I will put at my local sale for $2. The Scribe of Siena. These are just the few fiction ones that I had in the tub. This is a no-go. 39 sales, which is not bad, but the FBA prices are really low. There's a lot of merchant fulfilled prices. This is probably another one that I'll put at my local sale in the fiction section. Servant of the Bones. Anne Rice, of course, is a very well-known, popular author. So I'm sure this is probably doing well on Amazon, I would think. Oh my gosh, guys. 304 merchant fulfilled offers all the way down to $4, so a penny book. So yeah, this one probably too. I mean, I can put it at my local sale. So I usually try not to have too many hardcovers at my local sale because they take up more space. Only if they're unique or they're popular authors, that type of thing. I try to tend to have more paperbacks because they're smaller, take up less space, and are a little bit generally more desirable. Do you find softcover versus hardcover sales any better or varies? In terms of on Amazon, whoa. So there's this one, and that's a no-go. Look at all those merchant filled offers, and the FBA offers are really low. I tend to find more softcover books that are worth reselling on Amazon specifically than hardcovers. I do much better with softcovers for sure. Musashi-san makes a good point. 1 second. So yeah, I've over the years, I've definitely soft covers are better than hardcovers. Most of the hardcovers, like fiction especially, I don't even look at unless it's something really interesting or old or unique. Um, and nonfiction hardcovers, I do find some great ones. Absolutely. There's some valuable nonfiction hardcovers for sure. I found a good amount of those. But by and large, if I were to go sourcing wherever it was, or even pulling out of a Gaylord, it'd probably be mostly soft covers. But there's always going to be some hardcovers for sure, absolutely, that are going to be worth some good money. Uh, Now this one, yeah, don't waste your time. And these either. This is Quiet Moments for Mothers. Let's just for funsies look it up on Amazon. Look at the rank on that one. See, so I knew that one was not going to be worth it. And then this one, oy, look at this one. Joys of Jello. Joys of Jello. What do you think? Is that worth it?
Dude.
I don't think so. So if you guys, this is from. Does it have a date? Does it have a date? I don't see a date. Anyway, so if you're really into Jello, you can make some Jello stuff. So I don't think that's going to be worth much. I got a bunch of kids books. Now, this one here, this is a reader. So you can. I didn't get very many of them. I didn't get enough to put into a lot or anything like that. But the readers are great to put together into lots on eBay. Here's another reader. This is a level 1. So these do well. This is a very popular one, Choo Choo. Anyway, so then also of course these the golden little golden books. If you can get a bunch of those together, especially the Disney's. Yeah, Joy of Jello. Joys of Jello. But hey, some people are really into Jello. So man, there's some serious. You can make like a cake Jello, a Jello cake situation. So these are really good for some of them individually. If they're really old, might be worth some money. But definitely as a lot, these can do well on eBay. So if you get a bunch of those together, get a dozen or 20 or 30 or whatever. Turtles take their time. These are all just, kids' books. Here's another reader. Again, if you put those, together, if you get 10 of them together or whatever, they should do well on eBay. These are the ones that came with audio cassettes. You can see there in the corner, book and tape. I find those fairly frequently. Dinosaurs. None of these are probably worth money individually, but those are. These two are interesting, and I haven't looked them up. Indian Doctor: Nature's Method of Curing and Preventing Disease According to the Indians. This could be something, or it could be nothing. This actually has an ISBN though. You know what we could do is could look it up on Amazon. It's so unlikely that this will be worth money, but you never know. It has the ISBN. So we have 093 66 7217X. Let's see if this shows up. There it is. It's got a rank. Oh no, there's too many copies. So there are, yeah. So here it is. Let me show you guys. Nature's Method of Curing and Preventing Disease According to the Indians, first edition. But look how many copies. It's got 80 copies, so it's not worth any money on Amazon. But here's the thing, right? And I assume it's not worth any money on eBay individually. You could look it up. But you could put that into a lot on eBay if you found some. I mean, imagine if you had like a lot, half a dozen of, Native American Indian natural cures or that type of thing. You could put them into a lot and potentially on eBay as a genre, right? And sell them. But how many of these types of books were you gonna find? I don't know. Let's see. There's this one, The Decade of the Armory Show, 1910 to 1920. This is from 1963. So that's one that I'll try and look up. But this could be good too. This has got a lot of paintings. My wife. Okay. And yeah, it's a lot of paintings. So I don't know if this is worth anything, but we can look that up next time. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put that on the other pile so we can do that tomorrow, and see if that's going to be worth anything. So yeah, guys, it's 8:03 now. We've come to the end of the show, but I really appreciate you guys joining in. We've got more people joining in. We're up to 8 people watching. That's awesome. If you're new to the show, this is Flippin' Live. I'm Andrew from 510 Books, and we do it every day. This is actually our 8th day, day 8 of Flippin' Live. Started last Saturday, and doing it because of most people being at home, the quarantine, and just trying to get together as a group and talk about reselling, have some fun, and just try to get through this time until things get back to any sort of sense of normalcy, and being able to go out there in the world and live and do our business. So I appreciate the thumbs up, really helps. We're gonna do tomorrow at 7. We'll have some more books to go on. Thank you. I appreciate it, Brian. Appreciate you coming through every morning. There are some regulars here for sure, and it's much appreciated. The more people we get, the more we'll learn together. The more that you guys can meet each other here in the chat, and we can meet each other and get to know each other and have some fun. And I even got a theme song, so we're gonna go out on the theme song. I've got a couple little things here, dude. Woo! But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. And we're gonna go out on the theme song.
Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're gonna strive. We're here to learn and gonna earn. Flippin' live, flippin' live, flippin' live. We're flippin' live.
And if you guys are wondering, that song is original. I wrote the lyrics. My wife sang it. Did not create the music, but we did do the lyrics, and my wife sang it. She's a good singer, huh? It will be sold wherever music is sold. Actually, no, we're not doing that. But I appreciate you guys watching. I try to come up with new things to talk about every day. If you guys have ideas, we can talk about certain things in regards to reselling. I'm glad to talk about it. But I appreciate you guys. It's been fun, 8 days in a row. I started growing my beard on day 1, and here we go, 8 days later, and we're learning a lot, getting to know each other. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I do live shows every day, but also I do pre-recorded videos. I'll be coming out with another one in a couple days. And thanks for watching, guys. And please, guys, stay safe. Stay away from people. No. Thank you, guys. No, that was my wife. Anyway, yeah. So stay safe, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Sunday. It's Mother's Day, so call your mom. Thanks, guys. Be safe.